Well, we continue the Twilight Star Studios interviews. 1 year anniversary, continue the celebration. New creator of the studio, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, I'm Kevin Adkins, new to the studio. Just starting a story with called Dragnet by Ron Fortier.
You work with Ron?
Yeah.
Ron's a buddy.
Yeah.
Ron's a good guy.
So yeah, he got me a script probably about a month ago. And about 2 weeks ago I started on the first page. And it's been a slow process because I've never worked sequentially. But I started finishing up the first page, like I got about probably at 90% done, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it's been a bit of a challenge, but it's really, the script is showing me how to work sequentially. If anything else I'm getting from it is how to actually make a comic book page.
Cool. Now, I think I got a chance to meet you 2 years ago at Gym City. You had your portfolio with you, I think.
Yeah,
Bill
right.
introduced us.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a killer portfolio. I remember that.
Yeah.
It stands out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago when I first started getting the bug back to get back into art and drawing, and now it's starting to happen. My own schedule is I got a year of just nonstop trying to draw as much as I can. So
that's awesome. Now, what's your history? When did comic creation or art begin for you?
All right, well, I would say, as a little kid, going to grocery stores, pulling stuff off racks, taking it home and trying to draw it. So at a very young age, I kind of wanted to draw comics, or at least draw some kind of animation, whatever it might be. Watching cartoons and stuff. And I started hanging out in comic shops. I kind of got drawn into the whole Teen Titans, Marv Wolfman, George Perez era.
Such an era, such a great era of comics. Yeah.
And so that kind of got me into it. And I just started hanging out at these local shops, there were plenty of them, back in the mid-late 80s, early 90s. They seemed to be everywhere. So,
you from this area, or Detroit area?
I'm originally from Dayton area.
Detroit. I don't know where I'm getting
I lived in New Jersey for about 3 years, and moved back to the Midwest. And I live in Indiana.
Okay.
But I'm a lifelong comic fan.
Remember the Bookie Parlor from Dayton?
Oh yeah, remember the Bookie Parlor?
And Hal was my buddy. I remember him from back in the day. Yeah.
It's a Bookie Parlor. Funny Farm.
Yeah. Hey,
Bookery fans. I worked for Tim for about 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you've
even
done both sides of the
right,
tape.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was my college job. When I was in college at Wright State, I was going to, I got lucky enough to land a comic book job very close to the university. So, and that was great. Because I was going to Wright State for art, and I got a degree in art. But I was doing mostly landscapes and portrait kind of stuff. But one of my teachers would always say, "Man, every time you draw somebody, it looks like the Green Lantern." You know what I mean? So it's just like that was part. It always kind of went back to comics.
Right.
Even when they were like, just draw this nude model, and why does it look like the Green Lantern? Why does she look like Wonder Woman?
Exactly. Like Wonder Woman.
Right. It just happened that way.
Cool. So, how did you get drawn into the studio? How did this interaction happen?
Basically the bookery. I knew Bill from the bookery. He was a file customer there, and we kind of hit it off when he come in. We talk turkey about comics. Same thing with Frank Raynor. He was a customer there, so I got to know those guys, from behind the desk kind of thing. And I guess at the time when I was, we first met, I was in a band. So I kind of went away from art for a while and started doing another part of art, which was music for me, which was always a dream of mine to be in a band, to be part of a band. Creatively, I made tattoos for everybody in the band. We all got labeled with one, And so I was doing tattoo flash art on the side, even messed around with the tattoo gun for a while, did some wild tattoos. Cool. And and after the music kind of finished out, we kind of wrapped things up and decided, we're not really doing much besides playing the same local places. We kind of started breaking apart. People started having kids, and the band kind of fell apart. So I moved away to New Jersey, and married my wife. We had kids. We moved back to the Midwest. Got a hold of these guys again, and they did the first Champion CityCon last year, and I came to that and said, I want to be in. I want to get back into comics. I want to get back into drawing stuff. stuff, and you know, it just kind of worked out that way. Just timing kind of worked out that way. And I came back, moved back to the Midwest. They started the studio, sounded cool. I had ideas in my mind of publishing, making a comic book that would have a CD of original music accompanying it, and that's still something I have in the works. But it just seemed like this would be, you know, breaking in with these guys that I know that were writers and illustrators, because I knew Chris Metzger as well. I've known him for a long time.
Cool.
And we've always talked about, hey man, you know, it'd be great to get together and make a comic book, you know. And so now it's starting to happen, you know. Now it's starting to come to fruition. So that's pretty much it, you know. Like, that's where we're at today.
What projects are you kind of getting involved in? Do you know where you're headed in the studio?
Yeah, I'm working for Ron Fortier. His script, Dragnet, is a 4-pager. So I'm hoping to finish that up within the next month.
Good. From there, anything?
And from there, Bill and I are going to work on a project called The Metal Heart. I think it's going to be called Metal Heart.
Okay.
It has a lot of 80s metal references from music, so it sits in really well with both of us. We're using some, like, you know, things, aspects. We were both in bands. He was in a band, and I was in a band for 7 years. So we're kind of using that information in the comic book is kind of to flesh out the characters. And the main character is a character called Reverb, and he's, you know, in a band, and he's kind of this, you know, slacker by day, band guy by night. People get sucked into his life, and he's like basically, you know, superhero by day, rock star by night kind of thing. And you know, he kind of plays on the aspects of is he going to be a good guy? Is he going to be a bad guy? You know, he's going to be selfish with his powers, or he's going to help people out.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like where we're at right now with it. That's going to be the next, probably, I know, several months of work. I've already started sketching some of the ideas of the creatures. There's a creature involved called Avarax. There's a main character who's almost like this angelic character called Glow Sun. So I've kind of sketched those guys out. And then from there, I just talked to Dustin Carson. He looked at my sketches and some of my artwork, and he's interested in maybe putting something together. You know, I got to contact him. Don't even know what it is yet, but whatever it is, it's going to be cool. You know?
It's going to be cool.
Whatever it is going to be cool.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I pretty much devoted this next year, from this October to next October, just to do as much artwork as I can.
Cool.
I've kind of got this opportunity to do it. I made a deal with my wife. Basically, you know, I've been Mr. Mom for the last 2 years. The boys are now, I have twin boys, Grayson and Wyatt, and they're in daycare.
Good blood, man.
Yeah.
You're a saint.
Yeah. It's a tough job. Toughest job I've ever had.
No kidding. I respect it.
And part of the deal was like, I was like, you know, I'd like to take about a year of like artistic sabbatical. Work around the house. You have a fixer-upper house.
Yeah.
Do stuff through the day while the boys, you know, they're at night. When the boys come home, put them to bed. I hit the table. You know, 3 or 4 hours every night. Try to hammer it out. You know, see what I can do in the next year.
That's what I said. So there's a lot of people wishing they could do that. So
yeah, and that's what I said.
Cool place to be.
That's what I, you know. That's what I was telling some of these guys. You know, that writers and stuff. And I was like, I actually got a really kind of cool opportunity right now to do some artwork. It's all about just doing the artwork now. You know what I mean? There's not a force like a job or life that's going to be interfering with that. That's going to be part of the things that I have to. You know, those things are going to be. Are always there, your job, your life, and everything. But now it's kind of like I have a bit of time to devote to it, you know, and not worry about, you know, oh man, I just been drawing for 8 hours tonight. You know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, I'd be like, great, you know, I just drew for 5 hours, 8 hours. So, you know, I'm just hoping for good things. You know, I mean, just. Sequential art is something I've never tried, but I've done portraits, I've done landscape painting, all the art school stuff. I went to school in New York for a while, Chautauqua, which is every summer they put on this big art program thing in upstate New York, and I went there for 2 summers and met a lot of people, a lot of cool stuff. You know, I mean, of notable accounts as far as art goes, I did some landscapes that hung in the governor's manor. So they hung there for several years, and you know that I thought that might be it. You know, like, and then this opportunity's come around where now I feel like I've come full circle, because all those things that I learned then, I'm going to put into something that, you know, got me interested in picking up a pencil in the first place.
You grew out of comics and you come back to comics.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of grew out of comics, and then now I'm back into them. And you know, I've always read.
And it's a really current common story. I mean,
Yeah.
you hear that a lot. People go and do what they feel they have to do to learn,
Yeah.
and they come back to what they love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, right now I'm looking at these projects as bridge building and portfolio building.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's enough for me. You know what I mean? That's enough for me right now.
That's awesome.
If I can make enough pages so I can show people, here, this is what I do, this is the sequential stuff I can do, you know, there we go, you know, and just take it from there, see what else happens.
I look forward to reading the books and seeing the portfolio, man. Congrats.
Hey, thanks, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be on board, you know, I think it's going to be a cool thing, a lot of cool people.
In a good group.
And a
no
really
doubt
good group, man, and a lot of good stories, a lot of good energy flowing around. So, looking forward to the next year. You know?
Thanks a lot, man.